the first letter of the English alphabet, used as a vowel and sometimes as a symbol or abbreviation in various contexts. Example: she got an A on her math test. A type of volcanic lava that forms a rough, jagged, and clinkery surface when it cools. Example: the landscape was covered in AA, making it difficult to walk across. Al, the Indian mulberry tree, the roots of which yield a red dye. Example: the weavers used al to dye the fabrics a deep red color. Aardvark, a nocturnal, burrowing mammal native to Africa, known for its long snout and tongue, which it uses to eat ants and termites. Example: the aardvark dug through the soil with its strong claws in search of ants. Aardwolf, a small, insectivorous mammal native to Africa, related to the hyena, that primarily feeds on termites. Example: the aardwolf emerged at dusk to hunt for termites in the savannah. Arg, an exclamation used to express frustration, annoyance, or anger. Example: arg, I can't believe I forgot my keys. Aaron, a male given name of Hebrew origin, meaning mountain of strength, or teacher. Example: Aaron is well respected for his wisdom and guidance in the community. Ab, a shortened form of the Hebrew month Av in the Jewish calendar, or an abbreviation for abdominal muscles. Example 1. The fast of Tisha B'Av is observed in the month of Ab. Example 2. He's been working out to strengthen his ab. Abba, a loose-fitting sleeveless garment worn by some Middle Eastern men. Example: the sheik wore an abba as he addressed the gathering. Abaca, a species of banana native to the Philippines, known for its fiber, which is used to make ropes, textiles, and other products. Example: the abaca fiber is prized for its strength and durability in rope making.
Abacus, a tool used for counting and calculations, typically consisting of beads that can be slid on rods. Example: the student used an abacus to solve the arithmetic problems. Abandon, to leave something behind or give up on something completely. Example: they had to abandon the ship during the storm. Abandoned, left behind or deserted, often without care or maintenance. Example: the abandoned house looked eerie in the moonlight. Abandonment, the act of leaving someone or something behind. Example: the abandonment of pets is a serious issue in many cities. Abase, to lower in rank, office, prestige, or esteem. Example: the king was unwilling to abase himself by apologizing. Abash, to make someone feel embarrassed or ashamed. Example: the unexpected compliment abashed her in front of everyone. Abate, to reduce in intensity or amount. Example: the storm began to abate after a few hours. Abatement, a reduction in the degree or intensity of something. Example: the abatement of noise pollution improved the quality of life in the neighborhood. Abattoir, a place where animals are slaughtered for meat. Example: the abattoir was located on the outskirts of the city. Abbey, a building or group of buildings where monks or nuns live and work. Example: the ancient abbey attracted many tourists each year. Abbot. The head or superior of a monastery. Example. The abbot led the monks in their daily prayers. Abbreviate. To shorten a word, phrase, or text. Example. They often abbreviate doctor to doctor in writing. Abbreviation. A shortened form of a word or phrase. Example. USA is an abbreviation for the United States of America. Abdicate. To give up a position of power, especially the throne. Example. The king decided to abdicate in favor of his son. Abdomen. The part of the body between the chest and the hips, containing the stomach and other organs. Example. He felt a sharp pain in his abdomen after eating too quickly.
Abdominal. Relating to the abdomen. Example. The patient was experiencing abdominal cramps. Abduct. To take someone away illegally by force or deception. Example. The child was abducted from the playground. Abduction. The action of forcibly taking someone away. Example. The police were investigating the abduction of a teenager. Abed. In bed, sleeping or resting. Example. He was still abed when the phone rang. Aberration. A departure from what is normal, usual, or expected. Example. The outburst was an aberration from his usually calm demeanor. Abet. To assist or encourage, especially in wrongdoing. Example. She was accused of aiding and abetting the criminal. Abeyance. A state of temporary disuse or suspension. Example. The project was put in abeyance until further notice. Abhor. To regard with disgust and hatred. Example. She abhors cruelty to animals. Abhorrence. A feeling of repulsion or strong disapproval. Example. His abhorrence of violence was well known. Abhorrent. Inspiring disgust and loathing, repugnant. Example. The abhorrent practices were condemned by the entire community. Abide. To accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. Example. He had to abide by the court's decision. Abiding. Lasting a long time, enduring. Example. She had an abiding love for her hometown. Ability. Possession of the means or skill to do something. Example. She has the ability to solve complex problems. Abject. Extremely bad, unpleasant, and degrading. Example. The family lived in abject poverty. Ablaze. Burning fiercely, on fire. Example. The building was ablaze by the time the firefighters arrived. Able. Having the power, skill, means, or opportunity to do something. Example. She was able to complete the project ahead of schedule.
Able-bodied. Fit, strong, and healthy, not physically disabled. Example. The job requires an able-bodied person who can lift heavy objects. Ablution. The act of washing oneself, often for religious purposes. Example. The monk performed his morning ablutions before prayer. Abnormal. Deviating from what is normal or usual. Example. The doctor noticed an abnormal growth on the X-ray.
Abnormality. An abnormal feature, characteristic, or occurrence. Example. The scan revealed a small abnormality in the brain. Aboard. On or into a ship, aircraft, train, or other vehicle. Example. All passengers were safely aboard the plane. Abode. A place of residence, a house or home. Example. They found a peaceful abode in the countryside. Abominable. Causing moral revulsion, very bad or unpleasant. Example. The conditions in the prison were abominable. Abominate. To detest or loathe intensely. Example. He abominates all forms of racism. Abomination. A thing that causes disgust or hatred. Example. The dictator's actions were seen as an abomination by the international community. Aboriginal. Relating to the original inhabitants of a region. Example. The Aboriginal tribes have lived in the region for thousands of years.
Aborigine. A member of the indigenous or earliest known population of a region. Example. The Aborigines of Australia have a rich cultural heritage. Abort. To bring to a premature end because of a problem or fault. Example. The mission had to be aborted due to technical difficulty. Abortion. The deliberate termination of a human pregnancy. Example. The debate over abortion rights continues to be a contentious issue.
Abortive. Failing to produce the intended result. Example. The plan to build the new park was abortive because they ran out of money. Abound. To exist in large numbers or amounts. Example. The lakes abound with fish. About. On the subject of, concerning. Example. She was talking about her vacation plans.
Above. At a higher level or layer. Example. The birds were flying above the clouds. Above board. Honest, open, and straightforward. Example. The transaction was completely above board and transparent. Abridge. To shorten a book, movie, speech, or other text, without losing the sense. Example. The novel was abridged for younger readers.
Abridgment. A shortened version of a larger work. Example. The abridgment of the novel made it more accessible to students. Abroad. In or to a foreign country. Example. She plans to study abroad next year.
Abrogate. To officially end or cancel something, such as a law, agreement, or rule. Example. the government decided to abrogate the outdated law.
Abrupt. Sudden and unexpected. Example. The car came to an abrupt stop.
Abscess. A swollen area within body tissue, containing an accumulation of pus. Example. The dentist had to drain the abscess in her gum. Abscond. To leave hurriedly and secretly, typically to avoid being caught or to escape from a place, especially after committing a wrongdoing or crime. Example. The suspect absconded with the stolen money. Absence. The state of being away from a place or person. Example. His absence from the meeting was noted by his colleagues.
Absent. Not present in a place, at an occasion, or as part of something. Example. She was absent from school yesterday due to illness. Absent-minded. Being forgetful or not paying attention because your mind is distracted or thinking about something else. Example. He's so absent-minded that he often forgets where he left his keys.
Absentee. A person who is expected or required to be present at a place or event but is not. Example. The teacher marked him as an absentee because he didn't show up for class. Absenteeism. The practice of regularly staying away from work or school without good reason. Example. The company is concerned about the high level of absenteeism among its employees. Absolute. Complete, total, or without any limits. Example. She has absolute confidence in her abilities. Absolutely. Completely, definitely, or without any doubt. Example. The movie was absolutely fantastic. Absolve. To set or declare someone free from blame, guilt, or responsibility. Example. The court absolved him of all charges. Absorb. To take in or soak up energy, or a liquid or other substance. Example. The sponge can absorb a lot of water. Absorbed. Deeply interested or involved in something, preoccupied. Example. He was so absorbed in his book that he didn't hear the phone ring.
Absorbing. Very interesting and attention-grabbing. Example. The documentary was so absorbing that I watched it twice. Absorption. The process of taking in or soaking up something, like a sponge absorbs water. Example. The absorption of nutrients is essential for good health. Abstain. To refrain oneself from doing or enjoying something. Example. He decided to abstain from alcohol during the month of January.
Abstention. The act of restraining oneself from indulging in something, in politics, not voting. Example. There was a high level of abstention during the election. Abstinence. The practice of restraining oneself from indulging in something, typically alcohol. Example. The doctor recommended abstinence from sugary foods to improve his health. Abstract. Something that exists as an idea, not something you can see or touch. Example. The idea of beauty is abstract because it's different in every culture. Abstracted. Not paying attention to what's going on around you. Example. She looked abstracted, lost in her own thoughts. Abstraction. Focusing on ideas instead of real-life things. Example. The artist's painting was a mix of abstraction and real things. Absurd. Something that's crazy, doesn't make sense, or is not fair. Example. Thinking the earth is flat is absurd. Absurdity. When something is silly or unreasonable. Example. The absurdity of the situation made everyone laugh. Abundance. A lot of something. Example. The garden was full of flowers in abundance. Abundant. Having a lot of something. Example. The area has abundant natural resources. Abuse. To use something in the wrong way or to hurt someone. Example. He was accused of abusing his power. Abusive. Using hurtful or mean words. Example. The coach was fired for using abusive language toward the players. Abut. When something touches or is right next to something else. Example. The garden abuts the side of the house. Abuzz. Full of noise, like a buzzing sound. Example. The room was abuzz with excitement before the concert. Abyss. A deep, dark hole that seems to go on forever. Example. The explorers stood at the edge of the abyss, looking down into the dark. Abyssal. Relating to the deepest parts of the ocean. Example. Abyssal creatures live at the very bottom of the sea. Academic. Related to school or learning. Example. She has a strong academic background in science.
Academician. Someone who belongs to a special group of experts, like artists or writers. Example. The academician was awarded for his work in writing. Academy. A school or place where people learn special skills. Example. She joined an academy to study dance. Accede. To agree to something someone asks for. Example. The government decided to accede to the protesters' requests. Accelerate. To go faster. Example. The car began to accelerate on the highway.
Acceleration. The act of speeding up. Example. The car's acceleration made it go faster on the highway. Accelerator. A pedal in a car that makes it go faster. Example. She pressed the accelerator, and the car sped up. Accent. The way people from different places speak, with unique sounds. Example. His British accent made him sound different from his American friend. Accentuate. To make something more noticeable. Example. She used bright colors to accentuate her drawing. Accept. To agree to take something offered. Example. He decided to accept the gift from his friend. Acceptable. Something that is okay or good enough. Example. The teacher said my homework was acceptable, but I could improve. Acceptance. The act of agreeing to something. Example. The letter of acceptance made her happy because she got into the school. Access. The ability to enter or use something. Example. We need a key to get access to the classroom. Accessible. Easy to reach or use. Example. The library is accessible to everyone in the town. Accessory. A small item that adds to the look or function of something. Example. She wore a pretty scarf as an accessory with her outfit. Accident. Something unexpected that happens and may cause harm. Example. He had a minor accident while driving in the rain, but fortunately, no one was hurt. Accidental. Happening by chance, not on purpose. Example. Breaking the vase was accidental, she didn't mean to do it. Accidentally. By mistake. Example. He accidentally left his backpack at school. Acclaim. Praise or approval. Example. The singer received a lot of acclaim for her performance. Acclamation. Loud approval or applause. Example. The team won the game to great acclamation from the crowd. Acclimate. To get used to a new place or situation. Example. It took me a few days to acclimate to the colder weather. Acclamation. The process of becoming used to something new. Example. His acclimation to the mountain's high altitude took time. Acclimatize. To adjust to a new temperature or environment. Example. They needed time to acclimatize to the hot desert sun. Acclivity. A slope that goes upward. Example. We walked up the steep acclivity to reach the top of the hill. Accommodate. To help or make room for someone or something. Example. The hotel can accommodate 100 guests. Accommodating. Helpful and willing to meet others' needs. Example. The waiter was very accommodating, bringing us extra napkins when we needed them. Accommodation. A place where you stay or live. Example. Our vacation accommodation was a cozy cabin in the mountains. Accompanied. Went along with someone. Example. My mom accompanied me to the doctor's appointment. Accompaniment. Something that goes along with something else. Example. The soft music was a perfect accompaniment to dinner. Accompany. To go with someone. Example. My friend will accompany me to the concert. Accomplice. A person who helps someone else, usually in a crime. Example. The robber's accomplice drove the getaway car. Accomplish. To complete something successfully. Example. He worked hard to accomplish his goal of winning the race. Accomplished. Having completed something well, skilled. Example. She is an accomplished pianist who has performed all over the world. Accomplishment. Something that has been achieved successfully. Example. Finishing the marathon was a huge accomplishment for him. Accord. An agreement between two parties. Example. The countries signed an accord to work together in peace. According. As stated by someone or something. Example. According to the weather forecast, it will rain tomorrow. Account. A record of something, or a bank account. Example. I opened a savings account at the bank. Accountable. Being responsible for something. Example. She is accountable for completing her homework on time. Accountant. A person whose job is to keep and check financial records. Example. My dad's friend is an accountant who helps people with taxes. Accounting. The process of keeping financial records. Example. The company's accounting department handles all the bills and payments. Accumulate. To gather or collect over time. Example. He managed to accumulate a large collection of comic books. Accumulation. The process of collecting things over time. Example. The accumulation of snow on the ground made it hard to walk. Accuracy. How correct or exact something is. Example. The accuracy of the clock helps me arrive on time. Accurate. Correct and without mistakes. Example. Her math answer was accurate, so she got full points on the test. Accusation. Saying someone did something wrong. Example. His accusation that I broke the vase was unfair. Accuse. To say someone did something wrong or illegal. Example. They accused him of cheating on the test, but he didn't. Accustom. To get used to something. Example. I need to accustom myself to waking up early for school. Accustomed. Used to something. Example. He's accustomed to the cold because he lives in a snowy area. Ace. A slang term used to describe someone who is highly skilled or proficient at something. Example. She's an ace at solving complex math problems. Ache. A dull, continuous pain. Example. I have a stomach ache from eating too much candy. Achieve. To successfully complete or reach a goal. Example. She worked hard to achieve her dream of becoming a doctor. Achievement. Something that has been done successfully. Example. Winning the science fair was her biggest achievement this year. Acid. A sour substance or chemical. Example. Lemon juice contains citric acid, which is why it tastes sour. Acknowledge. To recognize or admit something. Example. I had to acknowledge that I made a mistake on my project. Acre. A unit used to measure land. Example. They bought a farm that is 5 acres wide. Acrobat. A person who performs gymnastic tricks. Example. The acrobat amazed the crowd with her flips and jumps. Act. To do something or a part of a play. Example. He wants to act in a school play next year. Action. Doing something or something that is happening. Example. The movie was full of exciting action scenes. Active. Moving around a lot, not still. Example. My little brother is very active and loves to run and play. Activity. Something that you do, especially for fun. Example. My favorite activity after school is playing soccer. Actor. A person who performs in plays or movies. Example. My favorite actor is in a new movie coming out next month. Actual. Real or true. Example. The actual cost of the toy was much lower than I thought. Actually. In fact or really. Example. I thought the movie would be boring, but it was actually really fun. Adapt. To change in order to fit a new situation. Example. Animals in the desert have to adapt to the hot weather. Adaptation. A change that helps something survive. Example. Polar bear's thick fur is an adaptation for living in the cold. Add. To put numbers together or to include something. Example. If you add 2 and 3, you get 5. Addition. The process of adding or something that is added. Example. The new puppy was a happy addition to our family. Additional. Extra or more. Example. We needed additional chairs for all the guests at the party. Address. The location where someone lives. Example. She wrote down her new address on the envelope. Adequate. Good enough, but not more than what is needed. Example. The food at the restaurant was adequate, but not great. Adjective. A word that describes a noun. Example. In the sentence, the tall tree, tall is an adjective. Adjust. To change something slightly to make it work better. Example. I had to adjust my bike seat so it was more comfortable. Admire. To look up to someone or something with respect. Example. I admire my teacher for being so kind and patient. Admission. The act of being allowed in or the price to enter. Example. Admission to the museum is free on weekends. Admit. To confess something or agree that it is true. Example. She had to admit that she forgot to do her homework. Adopt. to take something as your own, such as a child or idea. Example. They decided to adopt a puppy from the animal shelter. Adoption. The process of taking something as your own. Example. The adoption of the new rules made the game more fun. Adult. A fully grown person or animal. Example. When you turn 18, you are considered an adult. Advance. To move forward or make progress. Example. We need to advance in the game to reach the next level. Advanced. More difficult or at a higher level. Example. He took an advanced math class because he was good at it. Advantage. Something that helps you or gives you a better chance. Example. Being tall is an advantage in basketball. Adventure. An exciting and sometimes risky journey. Example. We went on an adventure in the forest and saw many animals. Adventurous. Willing to take risks and try new things. Example. She is very adventurous and loves to travel to new places. Adverb. A word that describes a verb. Example. In the sentence she ran quickly, the word quickly is an adverb. Advice. A suggestion or recommendation to help someone. Example. My mom gave me good advice about how to make friends. Advise. To offer suggestions or recommendations. Example. The teacher will advise us on how to improve our writing. Aerial. Related to the air or flying. Example. The aerial view from the plane showed the whole city. Aerobic. Exercises that improve the heart and lungs. Example. Running is a great aerobic exercise that helps you stay healthy. Aerodynamics. The study of how objects move through the air. Example. Airplanes are designed using aerodynamics to fly smoothly. Affair. An event or situation, often important. Example. The school dance was a grand affair that everyone enjoyed. Effect. To have an impact or change something. Example. The rainy weather can affect your mood and make you feel sad. Affection. A feeling of love or liking for someone. Example. She showed her affection by hugging her little brother. Affectionate. Showing love or care for someone. Example. My dog is very affectionate and loves to cuddle. Affirm. To confirm or state something is true. Example. The principal will affirm that school will be closed tomorrow. Afford. To have enough money to buy something. Example. I can't afford a new bike right now, so I'll save up. Afraid. Feeling fear or worry. Example. He is afraid of the dark and always sleeps with a light on. After. Following something in time or place. Example. We will go to the park after school. Afternoon. Time of day between noon and evening. Example. I always feel sleepy in the afternoon after lunch. Afterward. Later, after something else has happened. Example. We had dinner and afterward, we watched a movie. Again. Once more, another time. Example. She read the book over and over again because she loved it. Against. In opposition to something. Example. The team played against their biggest rivals and won. Age. How old something or someone is. Example. His age is 10 years old, and he will turn 11 next month. Agency. A company or organization that provides services. Example. We booked our vacation through a travel agency. Agent. A person who acts on behalf of another person or organization. Example. A real estate agent helped us find a new house. Aggressive. Ready to attack or confront someone, acting forcefully. Example. The dog was acting aggressive, so we stayed away. Ago. In the past. Example. I went to the zoo 2 weeks ago. Agree. To have the same opinion as someone else. Example. We all agree that pizza is the best food. Agreement. When people share the same opinion or come to a decision together. Example. We made an agreement to study together after school. Agriculture. The practice of farming and growing crops. Example. Agriculture is important for providing food to people all over the world. Ahead. In front or before something else. Example. The car in front of us is ahead in the race. Aid. Help or assistance. Example. They sent aid to people affected by the flood. Ailment. Sickness or illness. Example. She stayed home because of a minor ailment, like a cold. Aim. To point at a target or to have a goal. Example. He will aim the basketball at the hoop and try to score. Air. The invisible mixture of gases we breathe. Example. We need clean air to stay healthy and feel good. Aircraft. A vehicle that flies, such as an airplane or helicopter. Example. The aircraft flew across the sky, leaving a trail of white clouds. Airline. A company that provides air travel services. Example. We booked our tickets with a new airline for our trip. Airport. A place where airplanes take off and land. Example. We arrived at the airport early to catch our flight. Aisle. A passage between rows of seats or shelves. Example. The bride and groom walked down the aisle at their wedding. Alarm. A device that makes a loud sound to warn or wake someone. Example. I set my alarm for 7 a.m. so I wouldn't be late for school. Alike. Similar or looking the same. Example. The twins look so alike that it's hard to tell them apart. Alive. Living and not dead. Example. The plants are still alive because I watered them every day. All. Everything or everyone. Example. We ate all the cookies because they were so tasty. Alley. A narrow street or path between buildings. Example. The cat ran down the alley to hide from the dog. Allow. To let someone do something. Example. My parents allow me to play outside after finishing my homework. Almost. Nearly or not quite. Example. We're almost there, just a few more minutes of driving. Alone. Without anyone else. Example. He felt alone after his friends moved away. Along. Moving in a line or with something. Example. We walked along the river and enjoyed the view. Aloud. Out loud, in a voice that can be heard. Example. The teacher asked us to read the story aloud. Alphabet. The set of letters used to write a language. Example. The English alphabet has 26 letters. Already. Something that has happened before now. Example. I have already finished my homework, so I can play now. Also. In addition to. Example. She likes pizza, and she also likes ice cream. Alter. To change something. Example. We need to alter the design to make it fit better. Alternative. Another choice or option. Example. If it rains, we have an alternative plan to go to the museum. Although. Even though, despite the fact. Example. Although it was raining, we still went for a walk. Altitude. The height of something above sea level. Example. The airplane is flying at a high altitude above the clouds. Altogether. Completely or altogether. Example. There were altogether 10 people at the party. Always. All the time, without stopping. Example. She always brushes her teeth before bed. Am. The form of the verb to be used with I. Example. I am happy to see you. Amateur. A person who does something for fun and not as a job. Example. He is an amateur photographer who takes pictures for fun. Amazing. Very surprising or wonderful. Example. The magician's tricks were so amazing that we couldn't believe our eyes. Ambition. A strong desire to achieve something. Example. Her ambition is to become a famous writer one day. Ambulance. A vehicle that takes sick or injured people to the hospital. Example. The ambulance arrived quickly to help the injured person. Among. In the middle of or surrounded by. Example. She found her lost toy among the other toys in the box. Amount. The total of something, often referring to a quantity. Example. He spent a large amount of time studying for the test. Amuse. To entertain or make someone laugh. Example. The clown amused the children with his funny tricks. Amusement. The feeling of being entertained or having fun. Example. The children looked at the balloons with great amusement. Analyze. To examine something carefully to understand it better. Example. The scientist will analyze the results of the experiment. Ancient. Very old, from a long time ago. Example. The pyramids in Egypt are ancient structures. Anger. A strong feeling of being upset or annoyed. Example. His anger showed when he slammed the door. Angle. The space between two lines or surfaces that meet. Example. The picture was hanging at a strange angle on the wall. Angry. Feeling very upset or mad. Example. She was angry when her toy broke. Animal. A living creature that is not a human or plant. Example. A lion is a wild animal that lives in the jungle. Ankle. The joint connecting the foot to the leg. Example. He twisted his ankle while playing soccer. Announce. To tell people something officially. Example. The teacher will announce the winner of the spelling contest. Announcement. An official statement or notice. Example. The school made an announcement about the upcoming holiday. Annoy. To bother or irritate someone. Example. The loud music started to annoy everyone at the party. Annual. Happening once every year. Example. The annual school picnic is something everyone looks forward to. Another. One more in addition to what you have. Example. May I have another cookie, please? Answer. A reply to a question. Example. She raised her hand to give the correct answer. Ant. A small insect that lives in colonies. Example. The ant carried a crumb back to its home. Anxiety. A feeling of worry or nervousness. Example. She felt anxiety before giving her speech in front of the class. Anxious. Feeling worried or nervous about something. Example. He was anxious about his upcoming exam. Any. One or more, no matter how much or how many. Example. Is there any milk left in the fridge? Anybody. Any person. Example. Anybody can join the game if they want to. Anyone. Any person. Example. Anyone who needs help can ask the teacher. Anything. Anything, object, or idea. Example. Is there anything I can do to help? Anyway. In any case, despite something. Example. It was raining, but we went to the park anyway. Anywhere. In or to any place. Example. You can sit anywhere in the classroom. Apart. Separated by a distance or not together. Example. The two friends sat apart during the movie. Apartment. A set of rooms for someone to live in, usually in a building. Example. They moved into a new apartment in the city. Apologize. To say sorry for something you did wrong. Example. He had to apologize to his friend for being rude. Apology. A statement saying you are sorry. Example. She wrote a letter of apology for breaking the school rules. Apparent. Easy to see or understand. Example. It was apparent that he was not feeling well today. Appear. To become visible or to seem. Example. The stars begin to appear as the night sky grows darker. Appearance. The way someone or something looks. Example. His messy hair made his appearance look unkempt. Apple. A round fruit with red, green, or yellow skin. Example. I ate a juicy apple for my snack. Application. A form you fill out to apply for something. Example. She submitted an application for the job. Apply. To make use of something for a specific purpose. Example. You should apply the new study techniques to improve your exam results. Appoint. To choose someone for a position or job. Example. The president will appoint a new advisor next week. Appointment. A scheduled meeting with someone. Example. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow afternoon. Appreciate. To be thankful for something or understand its value. Example. I really appreciate your help with my homework. Approach. To come closer to someone or something. Example. We watched the plane approach the runway. Appropriate. Suitable or right for a certain situation. Example. It's not appropriate to wear pajamas to school. Approval. Permission or agreement. Example. We need our teacher's approval to go on the field trip. Approve. To agree to or accept something. Example. The principal will approve the new school rules. Approximate. Close to, but not exact. Example. The approximate number of people at the concert was 500. April. The fourth month of the year. Example. My birthday is in April. Area. A part of a place, or the size of a surface. Example. This area of the park is perfect for picnics. Argue. To disagree or fight with words. Example. They always argue about what to watch on TV. Argument. A disagreement between people. Example. The brothers had an argument over the last piece of cake. Arise. To come up or happen. Example. A problem may arise if we don't plan well. Arm. The body part between the shoulder and the hand. Example. He broke his arm while playing football. Army. A large group of soldiers who fight to protect a country. Example. The army defended the country during the war. Around. In a circle or nearby. Example. We walked around the park to look at the flowers. Arrange. To put things in a certain order or plan something. Example. I will arrange the books on the shelf by color. Arrangement. A plan or way something is organized. Example. We made an arrangement to meet after school. Arrive. To reach a place. Example. We will arrive at the hotel by 3 o'clock. Arrow. A pointed symbol that shows direction or a weapon with a pointed tip. Example. Follow the arrow to find the exit. Art. Creative works like paintings, drawings, or sculptures. Example. Her favorite subject in school is art. Article. A piece of writing in a newspaper, magazine, or online. Example. I read an article about space travel. Artist. A person who creates art, such as paintings or drawings. Example. The artist painted a beautiful picture of the sunset. As. Used to compare or describe the reason for something. Example. She is as tall as her brother. Ash. The soft, gray powder left after something is burned. Example. The campfire turned into cold ash after we put it out. Ask. To question someone to get information or to request something. Example. I will ask my teacher for help with the math problem. Asleep. In the state of sleeping. Example. The baby was asleep in her crib. Aspect. A part or feature of something. Example. One aspect of the game I liked was the teamwork. Assemble. To put parts together to make something or gather people. Example. We will assemble the furniture in the living room. Assembly. Group of people gathered for a purpose. Example. The school held an assembly to talk about safety. Assign. To give someone a task or responsibility. Example. The teacher will assign homework for the weekend. Assignment. A task given to someone to complete. Example. Our history assignment is to write about a famous explorer. Assist. To help someone with something. Example. The coach will assist the players with their training. Assistance. The help or support given to someone. Example. He offered his assistance to carry the heavy boxes. Assistant. A person who helps someone else. Example. The teacher's assistant helps organize the classroom. Associate. To connect or link things together in your mind. Example. I often associate summer with going to the beach. Association. A group of people joined together for a common purpose. Example. He joined the sports association to play soccer. Assume. To believe something is true without proof. Example. I assume that the meeting is still happening, but I will check. Assure. To tell someone that something is certain. Example. She tried to assure me that everything would be okay. Astonish. To surprise or amaze someone greatly. Example. The magic trick will astonish the audience. Astonishing. Very surprising or amazing. Example. The view from the top of the mountain was astonishing. At. Used to show location or time. Example. We will meet at the park at 5 o'clock. Athlete. A person who plays sports or is very good at physical activities. Example. She is an amazing athlete and runs very fast. Athletic. Relating to sports or physical exercise. Example. He is very athletic and loves to play basketball. Atmosphere. The layer of gases surrounding Earth, or the mood of a place. Example. The moon has no atmosphere to protect it from the sun. Attach. To fasten or join something to another thing. Example. I need to attach this paper to the report. Attack. To hurt or harm someone or something suddenly. Example. The lion will attack if it feels threatened. Attempt. To try to do something. Example. He made an attempt to solve the puzzle. Attend. To go to or be present at something. Example. I will attend the meeting tomorrow. Attention. Focus or notice given to something. Example. Please pay attention to the instructions. Attitude. The way someone thinks or feels about something. Example. She has a positive attitude towards learning new things. Attract. To draw attention or bring something closer. Example. The flowers attract bees with their bright colors. Attraction. Something that draws attention or interest. Example. The amusement park is a big tourist attraction. Attractive. Pleasing or appealing to look at. Example. The attractive flowers made the garden beautiful. Audience. A group of people watching or listening to a performance or event. Example. The audience clapped after the concert. Author. A person who writes books, stories, or articles. Example. J.K. Rowling is the author of the Harry Potter series. Automatic. Working by itself without needing human control. Example. The door is automatic and opens when you stand in front of it. Autumn. The season between summer and winter when leaves fall from trees. Example. In autumn, the leaves turn yellow and orange. Available. Ready to be used or obtained. Example. Is this seat available, or is someone sitting here? Average. The typical amount or level, or the result of adding numbers and dividing by the number of items. Example. The average score on the test was 80 out of 100. Avoid. To keep away from something or someone. Example. We should avoid eating too much candy. Awake. Not sleeping, alert. Example. I was awake all night because of the thunderstorm. Award. A prize given for doing something well. Example. She received an award for being the best student in her class. Aware. Knowing about something or noticing it. Example. I was not aware that the meeting was today. Away. At a distance from a place, or not here. Example. They are going away for the weekend to visit family. Awful. Very bad or unpleasant. Example. The food tasted awful because it was burnt.